What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sold Out. And on today's episode, we have another Way of Wade sneaker that we have finally got in. This is the Shadow 4, and it is the teal colorway. This box is a little bit different from the All City. You can kind of see that. See that. The sizing over here. It's got that on the bottom. All right, so with that being said, let's hop right into it. So now before we jump into the sneaker, I really am curious about the weight on this sneaker. It feels fairly light up top, but the bottom does feel a little bit heavier. I know this has cloud foam in it, and I know cloud foam can be a little bit more heavier than the Boom is. So let's go ahead and weigh this sneaker real quick. I'm gonna say around like 13 and a half. 12.8, so it's not that heavy. Now, before we jump right into it, I would say this is more of Way of Wade leanings, like budget model. I got it for, I think it was $109 on sale. I think it's $120 otherwise, I'm pretty sure. So like I said in previous videos, they have been sending me stuff. This I purchased on my own. It was a few days before they reached out to me, so go figure, but it's all good. I do not regret spending $109 on this sneaker, and we'll get into that here in a second. Now, working our way from the top down to the bottom, heel padding was solid. Could have been a little bit more fluffier, but no complaints really there. It wasn't like no discomfort or rubbing or anything like that. You could see that it's kind of a jersey material. Heel lockdown was phenomenal. I had no issues with heel lockdown whatsoever. I had no issues with heel slip-in comfort. Now, down onto the tongue. The tongue was probably one of my favorite parts of the shoe other than the color. I'm a huge fan of this color on a sneaker. On anything else, really don't care for it, but on a sneaker and obviously kind of on a hat, I think it's super dope. And I think they killed it with the colorway that they did on this. It's probably my favorite colorway that they released. I think they have 4, maybe 6 colorways, I'm not sure. But the tongue is like a mesh, a stretchy mesh. Not so much this part right here, but all this down here is definitely stretchy. So if you guys can see that, kind of stretches out, kind of like the Curry tongue. And this right here has a little bit more padding than that area. Very, very breathable. The mesh stretches out. You can see how it gets even finer down here. So it's definitely breathable. I have no issues with breathability in this sneaker at all. The tongue was great. I love the pull tab on the tongue as well. That's a dope little touch. Now working our way to the laces. Off jump, I think they did a dope job with the colors. They put the white speckles in it. Like I said, I like that, kind of offsets it a little bit. But I hate rope laces. They come untied fairly easy, so you got to tie the shit out of them. Like, I mean, this is just, I could just barely yank that and it's coming untied. So, but I really didn't tie these tight. I was just getting them ready for the video. But yes, guys, I'm not a fan of rope laces unless they're kind of like heavy duty rope, like almost like a paracord. This like fine nylon, I really don't care for it, and it stretches just a little bit, but they're laces. Double knot them if you have to. It's not a make or break deal when it comes to this sneaker. Now on the sizing, I went with my size 8. I went true to size. The only thing I will say I've noticed on 3 of the leaning models is this part right here gets a little bit narrow, and you do have to kind of adjust it a little bit before you put the sneaker on, or you kind of will fight with the sneaker a little bit. Happened with both the All Cities and this as well. A few complain about this area being very uncomfortable right here and kind of squeezing around the foot, but I have not had that issue at all. So when it comes to sizing, for me personally, I went true to size. I'm not telling you guys to do that. I kind of rather you guys make your own judgment on what to do, but I can just tell you right now, I have a very narrow foot and I had no issues with this sneaker whatsoever. Now, lockdown was great. I had no issue with lockdown as well. Lockdown felt great. Locked the laces down. They didn't come untied, but I have had these ones back here come untied multiple times. My other All City 10s actually have different laces than them ones, so that was kind of weird. Don't know why they did that, but I actually like that pair better just because I like the laces a little better, and I like the colorway, the teal and purple colorway. Now, down onto materials. This sneaker to me reminds me of one of my favorite sneakers that I have ever owned. That was the Jordan Black Cat 34s. I'm pretty sure it was the Black Cat colorway. They were all black, and they had a little bit of neon down here where you could see the airbag exposed. It just kind of has that same kind of Jordan 34 vibe. Very, very breathable. Same kind of weave. You guys can see that weave. It's not even really like a weave. It's just kind of a cross pattern, like a quilt type pattern. It's not like jacquard weave or anything like on the 36s or the 37s, but I like the materials on these. You do have to break them in. The shoe does feel a little bit plasticky. You can see all the synthetic wrapped around this whole entire sneaker. But I like it. I feel like it's going to make the sneaker last longer, way longer than if it wasn't there. If it wasn't there, I would definitely not recommend this for outdoors or anything like that. So when it comes to the materials, I like the materials, but you do have to give them 2 to 3 days playing here, an hour or two to break them in. I wore them during our 2-hour practice just to walk around in them because I knew I was going to play in them afterwards, and they actually ended up kind of loosening up. The sneaker felt a little bit more comfortable on foot. Now, down on the cushion for the sneaker, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it has great court feel, great response, and that's where I think this sneaker excels. It's not going to be for your bigs and your heel impact protection. I don't think you would necessarily want to go get the Shadow 4 if you're looking to take some stress off your knees, off your shins, off your back, or anything like that. This would not be the sneaker for you. This is definitely a very guard-orientated sneaker. In my eyes and in my opinion, I think any guard would love this sneaker. It's not a low cut, but it does the job. It's very light. It doesn't feel super heavy. Like I said, the top does feel very light, and you can kind of feel the unbalance on the bottom, but you would not notice that during play. You cannot feel that at all whatsoever. So as far as cushion, it was kind of lackluster. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the Cloud yet. I know the All City 10 V2 had the Cloud and Boom. I think I'm kind of gearing more towards the Boom than the Cloud. I would like to try the 808. I might get that in soon. I think I seen it for 90 bucks on Famuji or something like that. So I might order that and get that in here soon, but we will see. Now on to traction. Traction was great. I was kind of shocked. Like I said, when I was putting it on, it felt like it slid a little bit, kind of like the All City 10s. But like when you get on court, it's almost top tier. I love the traction of the All City 10 V2s and the traction on these Shadow 4s. You guys can see the traction pattern there, kind of similar to the All City 10s type vibe. Kind of starts with a cross type thing right there, just kind of goes out from there. I really enjoyed the traction on the Shadow 4. I have no issues with the traction. And yes, guys, I suggest you, if you are looking for a very good traction, go ahead and go with the Shadow 4s. You will not be disappointed. Now, onto my recommendations. Yes, I would recommend this sneaker to any guard. Any guard, I mean, even a small forward. If you're not looking, you're not making crazy dunks or anything like that. You're not making hard heel impacts or anything like that. This definitely could be a sneaker for you. From the 1 to the 3, I think you will enjoy this sneaker. Just the break-in time alone took a little bit longer than other sneakers, just I think because of all the synthetic that was going around on this sneaker. You guys can see that kind of almost wraps all the way around the sneaker. And yes, I would recommend this sneaker to anybody, guys, middle school all the way up. Like I said, I've been seeing even more Way of Wades. I think I've seen about 8 or 9 pairs now since I talked about the All City 10s. On court, we went out to a small town called Addison, and they also had some Way of Wades on as well, so it brings the total up to like 10 pairs I've seen this year. So Way of Wades starting to kind of definitely get out there. I enjoy seeing different brands. You get tired of always Nike, or, you know, just the top few brands. It's good to see a new face, like I said about Serious Player Only as well. It's just good to see a new face. It brings a breath of fresh air into the game, and it gives me something new to test, and I love testing sneakers. I love getting sneakers on my feet and getting into the gym. So guys, with that being said, this is my review of the Shadow 4. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Sold Out. Peace.